chapter, The Desert Fox. Italy has been completely annihilated in Africa, and Hitler has been closely eyeing his allies, all his fails and all his retreats. So Hitler sent his most gifted general to Africa, Erwin Rommel. For the British intelligence, they believe the war in Africa is over, so they pulled back their troops back in Egypt, and none of them are stationed in occupied Gallipoli. This was a huge mistake for the Allies. At the same time, when they were withdrawing, Rommel is sending his 1st Panzer Brigade and the 2nd Motorized Infantry units to the Africa. There was a black code. Black code means that Rommel told Hitler, "I'm at the coast. Should I attack or defend?" Hitler told Rommel to attack, but he wanted to go in a more defensive way. But Rommel's commanders struggled and refused to take orders. Immediately had to push. They smashed 300,000 people through the division, copying the British off guard, destroying millions of people and tanks. The situation got worse for the British. Rommel always outmaneuvered them, nearly cutting off the whole 8th Army. But luckily, the hold off of Gallipoli distracted Rommel. Then, on another blow for the British, their 3 officers, Ranking, George the Great, and Defoe, their driver had took the wrong turn and drove into Rommel's staff car and Panzer Brigade. They're immediately captured. Previously, this is the 3 officers that outmaneuvered Mussolini's army. The British had just lost 3 of their most experienced officers. In Africa, it might be a living hell for the Germans, but the Germans knows how to maneuver, and their tanks, panzers, are fast, extremely fast. The Vichy France also suppressed anyone that spoke against it. Hitler was a resounding yes in the Africa Corps. Next chapter, Operation Barbarossa. The Allies were, in 1941, the Allies' British Prime Minister and Roosevelt were warning Stalin, but Stalin thought it was a decision for him to join the Allies, so he ignored it. Hitler, 1941, he smashed 3 million men, the largest land invasion to USSR. They punched through all the way in Minsk, and they have sank the Tirpitz. Khrushchev, the Soviet general, decided a withdrawal is a must. So they did. On the 8th, they withdrew. On the 9th, withdrew. But in a good way for the Germans, the Russians are withdrawing in a not mannered way. That means they're disorganized, and that means there's a more opportunity of attack. The Germans had 50,000 divisions, and Hitler thought the Russians are going to surrender. But then, Russia's best ally, the winter, came. Russia's winter halted the Germans. Horses and oil froze. Tanks' tracks are stuck. Infantrymen don't have clothes, freeze to death. Half of the casualties of the German army is not by the Soviets. It's by the freezing cold. Hitler had really thought that the Russians would surrender, But quite annoyingly, like the British, they didn't. They gained a lot of ground, but they're now in the halt. Hitler is at the gates of Moscow, at the gates of Leningrad, and at the gates of Stalingrad. But Hitler reroutes the Northern Army to the south to capture the Caucasus, the much-needed oil, so they planned. Meanwhile, Stalin ordered 8 million Siberian troops from the Siberian, especially to fight the cold, and to smash Hitler. Hitler's troops were unprepared and unsuited for this weather. Hitler had defeat after defeat. Hitler's mission, the X-Craft, has evolved into minefields, submarines, nets, and boom nests. The submarine forced to attack. This is not the end, Hitler said. This was just the beginning. When Hitler heard of the news, he ordered the Stalingrad force to halt and never move an inch. They did move an inch to surrender. Hitler was furious. Hitler was outraged that a whole army surrendered. Then, after the Stalingrad defeat, Hitler's army, just only 1 million men now, being pushed back to the Kursk.